Feels pretty good. Came in yesterday, got some treatment. Felt good this morning. He's ready to go. I probably will start him tonight.
Was it hard to make that decision? Did you consult around?
Our staff was split.
How are some of the other guys, Markeith?
He's getting better. I mean, not that he's getting better. His game conditioning is getting better. Some of the rust off of his game is disappearing. I thought last game it was close to being his old self, or as he liked to say, his young self. But I thought he did a lot of good things. He got to the free throw line. His minutes are still going to probably be limited, maybe up to 24 minutes tonight. But I thought he had a good stretch. I played him extra in that third quarter, and his win was pretty good. So he's coming along.
Not that you want John out for any game, but since he was, what did you learn about your other team or your other players with him out?
Well, I knew something going into the game. I know Tim Frazier is a competitor and he's a winner, and he put our team in a position to win the game with a good start. He just had a good floor game, 8 assists. I don't even think he had a turnover. He made a couple of big buckets, but just his playmaking, his passing, it just kept us in a good rhythm throughout the game. And then Brad is obviously, he's been just incredible, and I can't take credit for it. It's him. He's playing well. He's playing at a high level. That the good thing about it, he has a lot of years going to be just like this.
Scott, his drives to the basket are significantly higher from a year ago. Is that kind of a point of emphasis from him or you?
Well, it was something last year I talked about. I knew that he had just a perfect jump shot, and he can come off of pin downs and catch and shoots. But I knew he was more than that. I knew he had the ability to get to the rack and get to the free throw line, and he has been doing that. He's had some big free throw games because he's attacked. He's just not settling for jump shots. With that being said, I still think he should take more threes. But he does a great job of mixing it up, and then we put him in offensive sets where teams can't lock into him one side of the floor or one set, and we can sprinkle his offensive game all throughout the court. And he's really doing a great job of moving without the ball. He's playing pick and roll. He's playing, like I said, he's probably playing some of the best basketball in the league.
I know Porter's always been a good defensive player. What do you think is leading to his increase in steals so far?
Well, he is active, and we're trying to switch more, and he can guard. This year more than even last year, with the league is going smaller, so the fours are really threes or 3.5s, and we can switch a lot of players on him. So his switching that we can do can get into passing lanes and get steals. And we want to be a steal team. We don't want to be a gambling team. We want to be getting steals off of our half-court defensive shell, because when we get a steal, we can be pretty explosive in transition.
Scott, noticed that you all were playing a little bit of zone on Sunday against the Raptors. Was that something that you all did because they're not known for being a great three-point shooting team, or is that something that guys are going to implement throughout the season and with the hopes of raising the level of defense?
No, I mean, a good man-to-man is a good zone, especially when teams are so strong-sided, and we want to make sure that we overload the court. And so our man principles are a lot of our zone principles also. But I think just defensively, last game was one of our better defensive games against a team that's scoring a lot of points, and Toronto's playing a little different pace than they have in the past. But we want to establish being a better defensive team at home. We gave up 42 points in the opening quarter of last game, and then Phoenix came in and had their way with us offensively. So we want to make sure we establish a better defensive presence throughout the game tonight.
Scotty, it's obvious that John is your primary ball handler, but you can see Otto's brought it up at times, Brad can bring it up at times. Is that an offensive luxury that teams have to counter for who specifically can bring a ball up, especially to a half-court set?
Well, it's definitely something that we want to continue to get better, and not just be so. I mean, John is incredible in pick and roll, and he's incredible with the ball, making great decisions. But we don't want to be so John centric that we just everything is John. But it's a good luxury to have. And Otto is such a great defensive rebounder for his position. We want to, the 7 times or the 8 times that he can get a defensive rebound, we can get out in transition without an outlet pass. Kelly's starting to do that a little bit. We have to, continue to work with him on letting him know the other players on their court are out there, and sometimes he doesn't see that, but he's improved also. So we want to, and then Brad. I think Brad can be a really good defensive rebounder and bring it up himself. But John's one of the best players in the league at playing pick and roll and transition scoring. That we want to obviously do that, but we want to add to our other guys' game also.
Some of the other guys clearly stepping up in John's absence, but does it give you more of an appreciation just missing him for that one game and getting him back tonight?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't feel good without having him on the court. He just brings an edge, an intensity that every team has to focus every second on the court, because he can, he goes from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. He's the Ferrari on the court, and we like playing fast, and he's one of the fastest guards in the league.
We haven't asked about Dallas. Obviously, their record is not so hot, but they beat you guys both times last year. What do you see as the key for you guys tonight?
Well, they beat us. I mean, last year, I don't know if I'm correct on it, but I think they made 17 and like 14 or 15 threes in the 2 games. And we got to guard the 3-point line. They need threes to score. They got a lot of good players that they don't have the good start that they want, but they got a lot of good players that know how to play. They're veterans. They're tricky. They're crafty. They just cause problems, and we have to make sure that we keep them off the 3-point line.
Do you have any early impressions of what you've seen from Dennis Smith as a point guard, as a former point guard?
Yeah, talented, explosive, can get to the paint pretty quick. He can go either way, and he finishes above the rim. He's another potential all-star point guard in this league. There's so many of them. It seems like every team has a dynamic point guard that can score and create a lot of havoc in the transition and half court.
Almost 3 weeks into the season, tomorrow, early November, but did you sense that guys may be a little tired, kind of can't shoot around and no practice?
No, I mean, I'm just trying to change things up. I like to be consistently changing, if that makes sense. I don't want guys to get comfortable, and who knows, we might do it again the next, our next game, but we might not. Today I felt that I wanted to practice yesterday. I mean, I wanted to come in yesterday because a few guys were going to be getting treatment in, so I wanted to just watch some film with them. But tomorrow, I'm not even thinking about tomorrow until tonight. But I don't think tired is the right word. I just wanted to change things up.
What's the advantage to changing things up and being unpredictable like that?
I think we, as teams, as coaches, you get into the same rut of doing the same thing over and over and over every day, and sometimes you give them a 45-minute break and they think it's like the greatest day off in the world. I mean, I already talked to 3 or 4 assistants. They felt like they had a day off today. They didn't get to the office till like noon. So it's kind of, hopefully keeps us fresh throughout the year. It's everything we do is preparing us to be fresh for all the games, and not just being so short term. And sometimes that's hard to do as a coach because you want to win the next possession, the next game, but you also want to be fresh going into each month of the season.
Scotty, there's been a couple of teaching moments early in the year. Do you feel like the group understands, regardless of what Dallas' record is, they should go out and take care of business tonight?
Well, you can't. I mean, it's a classic example. If you play against a team's record, you're probably not going to have success. And against Phoenix, we came out and played maybe our best quarter of the year to start the game, both ends of the floor. had a big lead, and then we relaxed. So that's also a little lesson. You can come out great, but if you don't do it for 4 quarters, you're not going to win the game. Dallas doesn't have the record I'm sure that they would want, but you can't. You got to play the game. You got to be pure, and you got to have no agenda, and you got to just focus on being a winning basketball team. And you can't focus on teams' record, and can't say they have a bad record. It's my night to go for stats. You want to win the game and get better tonight, so you can do better the next game.